Okay, so fall to rash. So we have some goodies after arriving from Clodori CLG or Clodori CL Le Gosla from a local printing company. I only asked for one, but they printed two because this one has a bit of a bubble there. I'm not sure do you actually take off it's kind of a clear protective coating or not, or if that's the finished article, but they're stickers, just like we asked. Because I don't want to go and bolt on a reg plate onto the front. That's going to be too long and involve drilling holes. So I use this reg plate already just to show, you know, how it would look like on the roll bar, and I'm going to use it here now to show why I don't want to go screwing this on, because it would actually, where the holes are in this anyway, they would line up there. I know you could put them somewhere else, but I just hate the drilling through bodywork, and I don't like the look of a reg plate if it was wider than the bonnet or than the grill or the cheek piece or anything like that. I think it just takes away from the shape. So with that in mind, just like I did with my own gold belly, I'm going to put something on the cheek piece. So I didn't want something that went the whole way across. I don't like that look either, where you're basically dividing the cheek piece in two halves. I prefer to have something neat with it, the width of your thumb on each side roughly. So you're not, I just don't like the way it looks personally, and the owner said just to go as tidy as, you know, have it look as tidy as you can. I threw a few photos onto them of 35s with wedges on them that I liked and thought that were nice. And yeah, he agreed. So what we'll do is we'll just position it slowly, put it into position roughly where we think is right. We'll get out the measuring tape and all of that. We'll try and get it looking as good as we can before we go peeling off stickers, the backing off the sticker. Okay. So I'm just going to roughly do it by, it's a little bit harder to do when it's on the tractor, of course. On my own one, I actually took it off and I put it up on the workbench, and I was able to look at it dead straight. So we're just going to hang it roughly in place, and then we're just going to get out the measuring tape and just try our best to get it looking centralized and then in the right, roughly in the right place. Okay. So I can measure into that gap there. Roughly use that as a guide. So bring it over a little bit. It's just going to take a little bit of time. This is the kind of job I could just easily record when it's done and to say, there it is, what do you think? It looks nice. But we may as well, considering it's probably just going to be a short video anyway, we may as well record the process. So we're coming in there about 30mm on both sides, measuring from the middle of the plate roughly. Yeah, so I'm happy with that. Now, of course, you can probably do with a bit of tape because it is falling down a little bit there. So we'll try and just keep it a little bit more snug there. Hope the camera's not gone out of focus. No, it's not too bad. It's just focusing below there. That's where we want it to focus. Feels like a high quality sticker, I'll have to say. It should be durable enough in that if I mess up putting it on, I'll probably be able to take it off. Okay, so we're happy enough that it's centralized there. So now what we'll do is we'll pick the straightest edge here for getting it right here. So we're going to say about 50mm, it's close enough to 50mm there. So I might goes 50 mil. No point having it too low. So it's 50 mil that side there, so that's good. So let's bring up this side to 50 mil. Apologies to the American viewers that use the metric system. 50 mil is just under 2 inches. 48 mils. 2 inches. So we have our other side. Happy with our other side. Of course, everything's a bit kind of slightly damp in here now, so I did just run over with a bit of polish and another cloth just to get any bad stuff off the paint, so we get it as smooth as possible for it to stick. 50 mil, 50 mil. And then we said 30, didn't we? 30 and 30. So it is roughly there. It's a little bit loose here and there. So what I'll do is I'm going to mask up a bit here, just as a guide. This is where if you had someone else here, what you get them to do is you get them just to pull it kind of nice and push it in there nice and snug, so you can kind of place the tape in a way it's right on top of the sticker, because there is a bit of a curve in this. It's not literally just something that's straight across, as much as it might look like that in the video. It is kind of curved. So I'll lift up the camera a bit there and bring it in a bit closer maybe, so you're not just looking at the same thing, the same angle. Yeah, so yeah, it is a curve. That does affect, you know, so this is just a guide really. I suppose that's all we're using it for. It's all we can do really is just guide it. Doesn't have to be mathematically perfect, of course. Okay, so that'll be one guide there. For this side, I'm going to do a guide this side, and we'll try and do one underneath. And then if we get it within the tape, it should be good enough. If you look at it very close, I'm sure we'll see it could be better, of course, but it's definitely better than bolting on a big reg plate, if you ask me, you know. It's wider. I know I could get one made smaller, but I just don't like what they do to the shape of the bonnet and the grill and all of that. So that's our guide for underneath there. Okay, and we've about a mil or two, you know, around it, like each side. Go in a little bit closer here as well. We'll try and peel off our tape there. It should look well when all is done. I'm going to reuse that bit there just to help us as a bit more of a guide, roughly. It should look better, I think, anyway. When I bought my first 20 diesel, that reg plate you saw there was on it, bolted onto the front of the bonnet, and I just hated it, like, took it off straight away. Okay, so we have a bit of a guide there, a bit of a guide. So it's like anything, you just sometimes just have to go with it. So once we can use it roughly, it should be okay. Right, so there's no point in pussyfooting around. as I said, they should be fairly durable. Should be able to correct it a little bit, hopefully. So I'll take off the back and off it here. Right, what I usually do with these is, if I had another person, I get them to push it in at the middle. Get them to push it in the middle, because you want to work it from the middle out, ideally. How's that looking there? Are we? Let's use the top one first. Touching the tape each side. So you don't want creases, of course. Okay, so we get the middle pushed down, and then pull it back off. Work out any creases, air bubbles. There is a few little marks on the paint that I couldn't polish out that are actually in the metal, so that's okay. Now, how are we doing down here? I'm feeling I'm gone too low, so I do, judging by my tape underneath. Oh, this will be back. As in, we're just a little bit underneath there. So if that's the case, we can just bring it down this side here a little bit as well to match it. It's a bit of a crease starting there. If we can't get it out, we'll just, no, we will get it out. We'll have to fight it. We'll get it. I think. Again, this is curved, so it will get creases. Like, remember noticing that with the stencil I used on my own gold belly, my 135 there? You think this is straightforward sticker job, like it's not. This part is curved in two ways. It's curved across and up and down. So you do have to work all of that out of it. Right up to the very last step, where it's going to be hardest to get them out. That's where the curve is going to just stop that from sticking perfect. Might have to do a bit of work on that. Yeah, same with that, just a few little creases at the very end. So we'll try and work them out. You can hear it actually moving the sticker when you move them out and push them out, or try to push them out. I like the way the black is not savage strong as well, so if it's dark, it's a little bit more grey. So, first impressions are actually fairly good as far as placement goes, I think. Will we just take a look and see? What do we think? What I like about it, as I said, is it doesn't go right over. to where it meets the side, the cheek of the bonnet. It doesn't take away from the shape of the cheek piece itself. Some people paint all the cheek piece black and then they paint the letters and the numbers white, and that's fine. But I think it just takes away too much from the feature of it and the design that went into it. Whereas that, you can still see the shape of the cheek piece. It's not going right over, it's not splitting it in half, it's slightly more grey as well than, well, there's a slight bit of grey in it as well, and it kind of matches the grill a little bit more. So I actually, the more I look at it now, I think it's fair to say it's not taking anything away from the bodywork or the bonnet. It's there, you'll notice it, and that's fine, but it's not becoming an overpowering feature of it. Like, so I'm happy with that. Of course, just a little bit more work to do on the creases on it. Yeah, I think that's really tidy. So we have another one as well, as I said, because I think it's something to do with this bubble. Now I don't know, I must take a look at this. There might easily be a clear coat, a clear stickery thing on the top of that we have to peel off as well. I have a feeling that's probably the case. It's probably a protective coating that you peel off at the end. So that could be still to come off. So I don't know. Okay, we're getting them creases are kind of, it's like you push one out and another one above it comes into it. So I suppose if we just try and push a load of them out, it'd be lovely to get them all out, because I'd just be worried that it will start peeling back then otherwise. Yeah, I wonder now, is there a little protective covering on that now? I suppose if we had a little poke there in one of the corners, it'd probably be the safest place to go rooting. Or I could look on the other one. I might actually take a look at the other one that I have up here, and we'll just take a look at this. I'll just lift up the tripod here a little bit higher where you can see. At least if we go messing with this, then I have a feeling this is only going to go on the back of his transfer box on the tailgate. His transfer box with this tractor is all spray painted red on the outside and grey on the inside. It's lovely. It's nearly too good to use nearly. So this would be a nice feature on the tailgate. I just wonder now, is there another little clear bit on the front of that? Now I can give them a ring tomorrow and find out. I just see that the little air bubbles in it kind of telling me that there could be something on it. Yeah, so we'll give them a call tomorrow and see, is there I'd say there probably is. Like, you can see yourself, an air bubble usually, as you know, is from when you put something on top of something and air is trapped. So I'd say there's probably, where they can also kill, it's just something on top there. Can't see it. Anyway, that's something we'll find out. Hopefully there is, and then we can use that as well, because the air bubbles will be gone out. So with this, yeah, we'll just have a few little creases to get out of, that's all. Again, how do you do that? Apart from just rubbing and pushing them to the outside. Don't really know how to get full rid of them. Do you peel it back and put a bit of super glue in? I don't know. Sounds a bit bodge. Bodge job doing that, but we're down to just one small one there. That's probably going to cause no issue at all. Does it want a bit of heat? Can we give it a bit of heat? Wife's old hair dryer. Okay, that seems to get a few of them out anyway. Yeah, I still think there's something on it there, because you can see there with the camera here as well. I just noticed when I picked up the camera, the way the light is going across just the 64 there. It's like there's just a little layer, but we'll find out. Okay, so one thing that I would just like to have a look at here now as well, just as far as an idea first. I'm just going to put the camera down here, and I'm just going to get the other reg sticker there, and we'll have a look at something. This is a local enough printing crowd, and I was often thinking, some people I know can put a kind of reg bracket off here, and in one way I was thinking, would this have fitted, but I forgot about that. I forgot about the Massey badge. But if that wasn't there, would it have worked? Probably could get one made to work, but then if you have a transfer box up and you're driving on the road, you won't see it. So no, I think we're right in putting it on the roll bar, and I don't think this is going to work on the roll bar. The metal's too, like this, is too rough. So I think we do have to wait for that metal plate, the press plate, to come. And that's a nice feature, it's nice and tidy. So it was just an idea. I think my gold belly is probably the same over here. I'm not in any rush really to, yeah, it's the same really, isn't it? Yeah, and it'd be stupid having it that small in there like a motorcycle. And I'm not going drilling anything. So I'm not going drilling and putting a bracket on there. It'd be fine if it was the old style square one, but the people in this country that are in charge of this, as you probably see, they start the vintage reg plates. If you want the year, they start them with, okay, 168. So this is 16803. My Triumph motorbike is 16807. And then this is 16809. So it's like a prefix for the county of Galway. Whereas if you actually dissect this number here, this number could have been shortened to 64G9. It's the 9th one registered in 64, because back in this country in 1964, reg plates were like, they had a letter or two letters and then for a county. So like CI for Carlow, I think it was. CI and then a number, it depends. If you were the 16th registered, it was CI 16. So you could get away with a nice square reg and it will fit in behind your seat perfectly. But when the Aegis that are in charge of this vintage registration decides that it's a good idea to put a 3-digit prefix straight away for each county, and then a 0 if it's below 10, and that, it gets very long. So I don't know. I actually rang the crowd that does the vehicle registration, and I wanted to buy 57G35 for my 35 because I searched and it's available, and they said no, we can't do that. I said, I'm no problem paying any more, and they said no, it's just the system. So it's a pity. Like, it looks so busy having all of that there. There's a lot happening in a reg when it should literally, or could have easily been 64G and 9. It would have looked, or even if they wanted to leave in the 0 before, under 10, you'd have 64, 2 numbers, the letter for the county, and you'd have then 2 numbers, 0, 9. That would be a lot nicer, and we'd be able to probably work a nice, you know, something nicer looking than that. But as far as the sticker goes, and there's a bit of glare coming off there, and I still think there is a protective coating on top of that, and that's probably what's causing the glare. But as far as it goes, I think that is neat and tidy. So lovely, I'm happy with that. Brass sauce to Shin, and we have another one, so I'll see if he wants to put that on his the tailgate of his transfer box maybe. In the other video, last 2 evenings, I was doing a bit of work on these new grill pieces, cheek piece, centerpiece, and the 2 grills for my other Ferguson 20 diesel that has more of a patina on the paintwork. And so if you're interested in that, I'll be putting that up again, with the progress on this. Basically, yeah, last night I just literally did a bit of top coat on it, and it's just drying there still, and it's still fairly cold in here, so It's not too bad now, it's nearly there. But yeah, that'll be going up in a separate video if you're interested in that. My first time trying to do a little bit of my attempt at patina, we'll say, considering these were brand new parts out of the box. And I want to make them look old. I kind of go through the video showing how I did it. Never did it before, so no expert, but I'm happy how it turned out. So that'll be another video I'll be putting up. So that is this. When I had the polish out there, I just gave it a bit of a polish as well for the owner. This time of year, I suppose, everything's so damp, especially around here. Nice just to give it a little top up, and it definitely turned out well. There was some questionable kind of lacquer work going on in places, but sure, look, it's not a Ferrari. Like, got the machine polisher that as well, and I'm not going to be able to cut that out unless I use an orbital kind of polisher, the one that can burn through things very easily. But yeah, so that's where we're at. Shinny and scale, shin and plot, from a distance. Just looks tidy. Looks tidy. So it looks a lot nicer than having the likes of that bolted on and it all bent and wider. Because that's what was on my Ferguson 20, and the holes are still in the bonnet. And it was rubbing and scratching, and so that hole went on there and the other one went there, and they weren't even straight. As you can see, this one's on the top and this one's in the middle, and yeah, I just didn't like it. I don't think, could you use the starting handle as well? No, you couldn't use the starting handle for doing a bit of timing around, so I took it off. I have to go back to that crowd at some point and work out how I'm going to go putting the reg across this, because the center piece here does get in the way. But thankfully this was registered before they brought out that stupid system where they put a big long number on it, and this was thankfully 22. It's a pity it wasn't 20. LS is for leash. So what I'm looking at here is, I'm looking, obviously, ideally you keep the county letters together, but if you split it down the middle, you have 3 each side now. So 5-4L, then you have a gap in S22. Yeah, it would work, but it looks stupid when you split the LS. But yeah, that's why I'm in no rush. I'm in no rush to go doing any job with that. And on these, from, we'll say, an original part from the factory would have been a bit of a reg plate holder that was kind of bolted in around here, and there was a plough lamp incorporated into it as well. There was no side lamps on them originally from factory. They're more 35 Butler style. I put them on just to keep it a bit more road legal, we'll say. Not even road legal, as in more visible. But I think in that particular Lucas lighting kit, there was just one red light above the reg plate, and underneath the lens of the red was white or clear, and then the light then shone down and lit that up. But I find they're very big, awkward. They're not personally something I like. I way prefer to keep the shape, the roundy shape of the mudguards. I prefer to see that. I don't like them big things in the way, personally. You know, that's just my personal taste. I don't like doing that. Yes, so that is, I don't know where I'm going to go putting the reg on it, like, you know, I don't know. You can't work anything really behind the seat. And as I was saying years ago, this particular tractor now was re-registered. To say that at one point, originally you would have had a kind of a square one, and you could have made a bracket from your 2 studs there and up here, and a nice little square one. 2 letters for a county and probably 2 or 3 numbers at most would have fitted in there, lovely. The seat bouncing up and down would have been plenty of room, all in there. But considering you end up with stupid long numbers like 1680709, whatever, you have no choice then but to go for the long plate. And if I put that long plate on, wherever I've put it here, on back here, I think it ends up hitting the lift arms. Let's turn on the light and see. Yeah. You know, so you'd want to get it right in underneath there. You want to leave enough room for taking off your battery tray. You want to leave enough room for bouncing on the seat. So, and then it ends up very low, and then you're driving on the road with your transfer box on and you can't even see it. So what's the point? So that's why I've just come to a bit of a dead end, and I don't want to go drilling holes in any bodywork or parts when it's just not going to look great. But yeah, I'm chuffed with that. Awesome downer. I think it's just exactly what we set out to get done. I wouldn't have liked it if it even, we'll say, went right out to the edge each side, and I trimmed it even with the knife, the little surgical knife there, to get it all nice and, you know, lined up and perfect. I wouldn't like that, because again, I think what it does is it halves the grill, and I just think it looks stupid. At least this, you can still see the particular cheek piece in its entirety. So the cheek piece is around the plate. It's not the plate is around the cheek piece. So yeah, that's it. That's where we're going to leave it for here until I get the metal plate and we'll return, and we'll have a play around and see, because this might help other people who have this situation. Look, there's loads of these tractors around. They're one of the best tractors ever made. There's so much around. People are trying to get them registered. If they're not registered, get the regs up in them, and they're probably looking at a roll bar, something like this, with or without this extra bit across, and I'm going to have to try and fit on when I get the reg plate for it. It's going to probably be this long here. I'm going to have to start playing around and seeing where is it going to look best, and I'm going to have to think maybe about painting this side red, maybe, so it doesn't look stupid, you know, looking at the back of the plate, or will I get away with putting it down there. So that'll be the next, hopefully, video on this, and we'll try and do a nice tidy job on that. Fit it, have a look, and run it through it, see how we do. So until then, I'll leave it there for tonight. So, Magalore. So we're back with more goodies. We got our reg plate made. So that's going to go on top of that, on that roll bar. We'll have to pick out where we want to put it, and yeah, it'll be definitely visible anyway. It's a good size. It's 20 inch, standard size, 20 inch. So same crack, I suppose, as yesterday evening's video, where we tried to fit our sticker reg, you know, try to get it centered. So we'll do the same with this. I'm just going to do a few trial fittings here with this. These rubber mats on the ground are a lifesaver this weather, because it's Baltic in here, and it's not very nice kneeling on the cold concrete. So we have got some masking tape there. We've got measuring tape there. I'm going to make 3 lots. Give it a go. So we were saying before, I don't have much room above the roll bar to get in and out of the garage where it's stored. So we're definitely probably going to have to go fairly level with the plate, I think. Yeah. So we'll get a bit of masking tape. We'll put a bit on one side and we'll put another bit on another side. Okay. And we'll see then how it looks when we hang it. Hanging it, but if I pull the tape bottom. So just want to get an idea of roughly where we're going to be. So stand back a little bit and see. Yeah, it's going to be hard to use a measuring tape now to work out where is best. Yes, how we want to get it straight, I'd say. Let me have a think now. What will we do? Will we run a timber up in there, maybe at an angle, try and still a good idea. Yeah, let's try to figure out now how would you centralize that. We could take the measurement across there, but then how do we okay. I have an idea, so let's go and get something else and come back. Okay, so this is interesting. Seems to be a kind of a mark where they welded something on there or something. Maybe it was halfway, I don't know, but it seems to be. So we're talking 28 inches in there. So that's bang on. And if you look roughly at 14 inches, I was trying, just let that even sit there. If we look at 14 inches, there's a mark right there. Straight mark. So then we get a straight edge. Now I know this isn't exactly straight across, but we'll work it roughly, and then we'll try and split that right in the middle of the halfway mark. Is that eye is in the one is in the halfway mark, and it is 10 inches each side. Brilliant. So at least we have a center point, and it's nice and straight. So we put that on the mark, and we split our. And look, there's another mark there, up there, that we'll use to centralize it. So it kind of actually is fairly well centralized. Kind of is fairly well centralized. Right, more ideas are coming to mind about how to get this nice and level. With spirit level, if I want to be really, really fussy. I just have to figure. So the issues with bolting this on to a round bar, and that's what this is if I don't bolt it on right roughly in the middle, if I bolt it on down here, it's going to go pulling the top towards me. And if I bolt it on the far side in the middle, it's going to go tipping that. So, you know, we do kind of want to get it right. So we have our center point there, which is very handy because I can use that as a kind of guide to the middle of the one there. And after that, it's just going to be, even going by feel here, if I get one side done, I should be able to, if I got one side bolted on, I can put a spirit level across, and I have to put this on level ground and not a rubber mat. We could just very quickly get it right on the other side. Once the plate isn't higher than the roll bar, there won't be an issue. So I suppose we're talking somewhere around there should do for drilling, I think. So if we get this side done by rights, we should be able to straighten it up then and get the other side done. Yeah, I think that's going to be the best idea. If I had more space in the garage door, you know, above the garage door, I'd be able to centralize this on the bar, and you know, we wouldn't have so much of the plate being visible then from anyone from above or below. It would be a bit nicer looking. But I think we're going to go for about there. It seems to actually fairly well centralized. If I want to be real fussy, I'll take a halfway mark across there. Okay, so there's a bit of a bit of a mark on that there for a guide. Yeah, so we'll take that off and we'll drill it. Okay, so I'll get a bit of timber underneath this and we'll get drilling. I've gone and just centralised there afterwards, so I'm going to do the same here. May as well. It'll just look a little bit better. You know, it doesn't take not any harder to do a good job, but it takes a little bit more time. So yeah, we're talking roughly. There's a bit of tape. Is actually the handiest here. If you want to go marking over something that's a nicer kind of a finished surface like that, painted or whatever, mark it on tape. Get a nice pen to do the job. These little lads are great because they're not a ball point pen. They could end up, you know, scratching things around like that. So we're talking 14 mil roughly there, and then we centralise it down this way here. That's just coming in there. About 100 mil, so right there is where we can hit our center punch. Okay, that's perfect. So we can give her a drill. That's it. That's the job. This seems thicker than okay, so there we go. There's our two holes. Lovely stuff. So we'll use some self tappers on these, hopefully, and I'm going to show you hopefully why, if it works out, why we're going to be using them. Need to just open them holes a little bit more to suit the self tapping screws. So we'll just put in battery's dying in that. I'll just plug in the electric. I have that battery drill, I'd say about 15 plus year, I think. I have this over 10 year. So I'll just open that up to whatever width it needs to be. Self tapper, there we go. That's nice there, that's perfect. That's okay. Just get rid of some of them little thrown sticking out there now. Okay. Lovely. So that's that done. Right, put the self tapper in the Sofoca in the pocket. Don't lose it. And we can make our way over now. Bring a marker, bring that felt type pen, and we can just have another little play around here and see whether we have our holes in the plate. We should be able to try and match up where they need to go on the roll bar. Okay, yeah. So we have our mark up the top there. That's fairly handy that it's there. Hard to centralise it otherwise, I'd say. And all we said was that we can do one side. So if we do the right hand side, since I'm right handed, since it's close to the camera, we can level it off down with it. Doesn't matter that much, just once I think I'm roughly in the middle of this bar here. That's why I like them felt tip pens. They just make a lovely, neat little dot. So that's that. So we'll go and get that center punched, and I'm just going to go and bring over a few tools now, like the drill and all of that, and set it up here. So I'm going to try as well a new, try to punch small new drill bits. So we'll see if they're any good. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. Okay, hopefully that'll do. I'm going to start with a small drill bit, see if it wants to bite. Hope it would now, because the drill is brand heckin' new. Sliding a bit. That's not a great drill bit now. Brand new. Look. Try a different one. Slightly bigger one. I don't know. Can't imagine the metal being that savage hard, like. Did feel it when I was centre punching it all right, but I'll go back to my trusty old better make of drill bits, and yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Okay, so we've got the hole drilled. So I said I was going to try and use these self tappers, so I picked the drill bit that suits these, and this is 3.5 or something like that. Yeah, that's going in okay. Let's run it in a bit better. I'm trying to make a shite of it ahead of it. No. That's lovely. That's what we want. Okay. So what I might do as well, just put a rubber washer on the inside behind the plate, so that it's going to keep everything out from there. And so pick one of them out now, match it up to the self tapper. Try a quick test fit on this side. Oh, yeah, bye. So, get that down there, better. Self tapper. I have a rubber washer picked out first. So, I'm going to put these lads on it as well. That's the reason why I wanted to use these self tappers, because you can actually hide the head of them then, so it stops it going rusty and all of that. Well, it stops it looking rusty. You can go rusty underneath it all at once. So, we'll put it on through. Put our rubber washer on the back, like so. going to tip it downwards a little bit, which is no harm because it's going to need to be angled down a little bit anyway. We can bend the plate a little bit, but if it's tipping downwards, it's going to be no harm. Be easier to see. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll lift it up and we'll just get a level across it. Take it that the floor is level enough. Mind you, this doesn't have to be perfect, but we're just going to go through the motions of doing it nice, do it right. Okay, so there we are there. Put in our mark. That doesn't seem 100% right, does it? Okay, there's a mark on there. Okay, and that's where we need to drill. Okay. Okay, so let's get this side done now. It's drilled. So put our plastic lad on the screw. Okay, put it through the hole. Run up our rubber washer. Line everything up with the hole. That looks good. We can correct things a little bit. It's very hard drilling onto it as a curved surface now. Okay, that's tight enough, shouldn't count to the door. And that's good as well. So close over our cap on that. That's nice and neat. I like the way that just hides the head of the screw. Standing out against the black, and that there is done as well. Okay, so now there we go. Not so bad. A little bit of a bend in it there. Mind you, that whole bar is not straight anyway, so that'll do the finest. Brass oscillation in, slightly tipped from the top wards down a little bit so it'll be easier to see, and yeah, that's going to look the finished. Oh, Sinead, that's it. Grand and neat, up good and high. So I couldn't be happier with that now. Between that on the back, nice and clear, and that on the front, nice and neat, brand new. I think we have the tax disc fitted. I think we have a nice tidy little tractor. And everything's practical as well, like tax disc is out of the way. We don't have a big wide plate fitted on there. Holes drilled and all of that. Don't mind drilling holes in that, obviously. It's not body work as such. So that is it. So that is what this came here for. And I just took a bit of time just having a look at some of the bits that I didn't already. Like the radius arms were a little bit loose in there. And they were moving in and out when you were turning the steering wheel. They're nice and solid now. So that kind of stuff does need tightening up here and there. And we checked a bit of the wire in there. So that was just getting in the way of the bonnet catch there, so managed to get all that moved out of the way there. So put your hand in to open that bonnet catch you're not pulling the wire then off the back of the key. We tighten that up. One other job I will do is probably just do a bit of work on that, because the issue with these is all is fine until if you try to close it when it's not perfectly straight, we'll say, it's going to stay pushed up. You push this down and you can end up pulling off the circlip. So I don't know why they supply these the way they do, because as I've probably mentioned before, you seem to need some kind of a tool like they had in the factory, because there's an aluminium sleeve that comes through, and you have to kind of, like a rivet, you kind of have to splay it or kind of wide, and without that tool you're at nothing really. Like, so that's why I cut a little slot around them and I put a circlip on them. But in some cases, unless that's cut perfectly round, you know, in line, it's just going to go pulling off. When you close it down and it hits this, if it's not perfectly lined up, what it'll do is when you push it down, thankfully that corrected itself there, but the other one didn't, and it fell off. Well, it didn't fall off, but the circlip came off it. So I might just do a little better job on that like I did on this one. As much as, yes, it is a kind of a jubilee clip that I fitted, it's bloody solid and it's going to stop it. I think this was filled with diesel once and it pushed off the circlip. So look, that's one other thing I will do before I let it go. So yeah, smashing little tractor, I have to say. God above, it's a tidy tractor. Everything's lovely and solid on it. I would like to put a little bit of a strip of rubber in there, but it's that solid I don't think I'll be able to even move it. Yeah, smashing little tractor. I do remember having some serious issues with this air filter and the bracket behind it. If I'm not mistaken, there was some drilling to be done there. Things were not lining up at all. I think I had to, yeah, look what I had to do. I had to go drill in different holes. I think I had to piggyback off this bolt going into the steering box, and I had to put a bracket. That was actually ended up looking fairly neat. And you'll probably see that isn't lining up great either. And I think this side in here, yes, you shouldn't have all the Bertock here. You can see the hole below, look, way off. And what happens if I put that into that hole, the whole lot was angling forward and we couldn't close the bonnet. So whoever's designing some of these aftermarket parts, I really don't know if they've ever seen a 35. The part is the tractor the part is meant to be fitted to. I really don't know if they have at all. One thing I did notice, since there's all new brakes on this, new backing plates, new drums, and every single bit in there is new, right down to the little springs and all the clips and holders and adjusters. The brakes on this are savage, I have to say. You stand on them and she locks up. It's a lovely feeling, a nice safe feeling that when you really need to stop, that you can. I think there was some work needed on these as well. Oh yeah, you have a bit of a rubber washer in behind that one just to tighten it. That was loose, and I fitted a rubber washer in behind that, and it just took the looseness out of it. This side was fine. Again, aftermarket, just a little bit questionable. So that's another job we can do there. It's just a little bit too loose. Give them a little tightening. That kind of stuff, I always say that about these old tractors, there's always something for doing on them. So when I fitted these bonnet catches, I never knew they existed until I went looking through at parts list, and I seen them, and I put two and two together that they must be for here. And then I went and I ordered a set for my gold belly as well, because any 35 I've ever come across, the bonnet just closed down and there was nothing actually holding it down. So I don't know, is this the same on all 35s, but I can't open this bonnet without opening this little latch here and there, and this little hatch, or whatever you want to call it, lid. I don't know, is that right? Again, is it just an aftermarket part? It is aftermarket, the whole bonnet is aftermarket, but I don't know, is that normal? I can't remember having to do that just to open a bonnet on it before. But we'll give these little headlamps a tightening. It's Baltic in here, you can probably see it on the screen. There's actually kind of nearly like kind of a condensation on it. I tightened up the two bolts holding on the bonnet as well, because what do they feel like now? They're fairly big. Only about 19 will do them. No chance of 21. Yeah. Aftermarket parts. Hard to actually it's hard to tighten because this comes out here. Always find these headlamps need that style of headlamp needs a tightening for some reason. Try a 22 and bring a 24 with us as well. Usually they're a lot smaller, but there's a load of different makes of these headlamps. They all look the same, but have slightly different fittings on them. Yeah, and I do with a tightening fairly. When this gets loose, the joint gets loose in there, and the whole lot starts flapping. Not only up and down, but sideways as well. And always a good idea just to give them a bit of a tightening. Yeah, they're still not savage. I'm just trying to straighten them up a little bit there with the bonnet. Yeah, it's always a good idea just to keep them, because there is a kind of a joint in there. So these ones have an inch of a bolt on them, so they're good big bolt. A nut, I should say. Can't see without my glasses there if there's water underneath them. There should be. The one thing about these 3-cylinder engines, they do vibrate a bit. See, it's that a bit better. Yeah. Because I know in the Fords and Major home, one of them was always loose, and the bloody thing would rattle for Ireland. So it would rattle for Ireland. And it always then kept blowing fuses and bulbs and all of that. So and this is a smaller one. So that was a replace. Or did I replace that myself? That headlamp. I forget now. I could have. It's a slightly different colour, alright, and it's smaller. It's a smaller nut. Way smaller. Could be 19. Yeah, it's definitely not. So we're going from 24mm down to 19, I'd say. Yeah. sometimes the proactive approach is good, where you just look for issues and just give them a tighten up. If it's that's taking a fair bloody tightening there now. Now, feel of that. Yeah, that's all it was. Because over time that thing, otherwise it would just start rattling like hell. Yeah. Do you know what, since we're here and since we have the bonnet up and me talking about being proactive and all of that, how about we just go and get our jubblies and do the same job on this as we did on the other one. I just prefer it. I think it'll last a lot longer, I think. So we did the same thing here. On with a nice neat jubilee, tighten it up with a 7mm socket, and see now how this one was just a little bit loose, and now she is solid. So close down the bonnet again. It feels brilliant. Feels good and tight. Only takes a minute. You don't see these things. That would be the difference between losing that catch and you have to buy them in sets of 2. So the difference between losing it, someone doing this, whack, it comes up because it pushes off the circlip. And the difference with staying on, we're going to call it a safety net, is what we call it. Because these aftermarket clips, they're just useless, to be honest with you. So we'll tighten this one up as well. We'll push it up towards the back a little bit, so we get a bit more, keep it a bit more steady. Tighten her up. Oh yeah, that's tight, and that's lovely. So that's 2 things that aren't going to be rattling or falling off in the near future, at least.